Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome back to the Dugout Football Channel, and it is the Prem Prediction Show Week 2 of the 25-26 Premier League season. The Premier League season came back with an absolute bang, didn't it? Lots of controversy, lots to discuss as well. But get your predictions down in the comments, and we will begin with the first game, and that is a Friday night game between West Ham United and Chelsea. Yeah, West Ham. I don't think anyone expected them to go to Sunderland and get absolutely gubbed like they did by 3-0, but they did. I worry for West Ham. I've been saying this for a number of weeks now. Haven't really strengthened for me. I know that they've brought obviously Hermansen, who had a nightmare debut, has to be said. Kyle Walker-Peters, Cal Molson as well. But that's three players that they brought in. Obviously Malik Diouf as well that at left wing back, who he was okay. He could have scored at Sunderland. They could have done, but yeah, as I said, Hermansen had a really poor debut. Had a really poor debut. Um, and hi, it doesn't get any easier because there's a London derby with Chelsea, who drew 0-0 with Crystal Palace, but really should have lost 1-0. I don't understand why the goal was ruled out for Eberichieze. Really surprised how that was not given, to tell you the truth. I did say as well in my last video that Estavio might be one to watch. He looked pretty good when he came on the other day. Um, and look, I think Chelsea are a team that are getting these youngsters bedded in, for sure. And I think I look at their team and defensively, I'm a bit worried about them. I would have to say, and obviously the goalkeeper. You know what my thoughts are obviously on Robert Sanchez. I don't think he's a good enough goalkeeper for Chelsea's standard, unfortunately. To tell you the truth. However, they go to the London Stadium. West Ham will make it difficult for them. They will make it difficult for them. You know, when you've got players like Paqueta and Jared Bowen in your side as well. I think you will be able to, do well with this team. But Chelsea fully expect Pedro to get on the score sheet, maybe Palmer as well. I'm going to go West Ham 0, Chelsea 2. Very comfortable win for the Blues. Now we move on to Saturday lunchtime, and what a game this is going to be. Manchester City against Tottenham. Well, Man City are back to their best, I think is the safest thing to say. Holland with 2 goals, Reinders with 1, and the other one from Ryan Shirky as well, getting a really, really good goal on there. And look, Reinders looks a find. He did really well in that Milan midfield last season. I think he's going to be a real crowd favourite for sure for Manchester City. I think he's a really, really good player, and yeah, kind of gutted we didn't get him, but look, I think he's going to be a very, very good player for Manchester City, and yeah. One thing I will say though, City did look a little bit open at times. Wolves did get down their left hand side a little bit. Had a couple of goals ruled out for offside as well. But got to say, from watching James Trafford at Burnley last season, he looks a really solid choice as goalkeeper. Obviously, there's still continuous links with Ederson to Galatasaray as well. Wonder if that might happen. I, I doubt it, but you just never know. You just never know with the last couple of weeks of the window coming up. Tottenham 3-0 against Burnley. Very, very impressive, got to say. Richarlison looks like a man on form. That second goal was an absolute beauty. Bicycle kick right into the top corner. Fantastic finish from Richarlison. And looks like Spurs are going to be getting Eze very, very soon. I think that's a really good signing for Tottenham. I think that's what they've been lacking in the last couple of seasons is that just a creative player. I think Eze is going to be a fantastic signing. When they get him is another matter. But I do like Thomas Frank, as I said. I think he's a very good appointment for Spurs, and I think when you look at Spurs as a whole, they're their team look a lot good this season, for sure. However, they are going to the City Manchester Stadium, or the Etihad, if you want to call it that. And I can only really see one winner here. Tottenham won 4-0 last season here as well. So I think City are just a little bit more improved than last season. I'm going to go City 3, Tottenham 1. I think City will win this one. But Tottenham will give them a game. Tottenham will definitely give them a game. That is for sure. So we move on to the Saturday 3 o'clock games, and we have AFC Bournemouth versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. First things first, Bournemouth thought they played really well at Anfield. I thought they were really unlucky not to go with a point. And fingers crossed, Antoine Semenyo is okay. That was absolutely disgusting. Obviously, as a Liverpool fan, I'm absolutely disgusted with what happened to Antoine Semenyo. What I will say, well done to Semenyo for alerting the referee. I think that's if that is the way for people to say if they've been abused or anything like that, then I'm all for it. I thought Anthony Taylor handled the whole situation really, really well, to tell you the truth. And then Semenyo went up and scored, didn't he? Two very, very good goals from Semenyo. And I think that's what's doing really, really well with Semenyo. I think he's going to be a fan's favourite for fantasy football. I think he's going to be really, really good. And people were probably expecting Bournemouth to have a bit of a drop off, but if they play like they did against Liverpool at Anfield, they'll be absolutely fine. They've still got a very, very good team, even though they've lost half their defence. But I think they will be. I think they'll be absolutely fine, for sure. So, yeah, unlucky to lose to Liverpool, but they are back at home in front of their home fans at the Vitality. Coming against a Wolves side who were, well, picked apart. I think it's the safest thing to say, picked apart by Manchester City. Did have their chances, to be fair. They did have their chances, but it's disappointing when, you sort of capitulate like that. And I've got my doubts, obviously, on Jose Sa. I know they've obviously got Daniel Bentley in sort of, command, and obviously Sam Johnston there as well. But as I said last week, I do think Wolves struggle this season. I really, really do. I do think that they struggle. So, Vitality Stadium, Bournemouth at home. As I said, if they play like they did against Liverpool, they'll have no problems in this. And I think it's going to be a slow start to the season for Wolves. I really, really do. And I am going to go for a 2-0 win to AFC Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth will have too much for them in this one. Now we have Brentford against Aston Villa. Brentford. Defensively shocking against Nottingham Forest. Like, I know Forest have got players that can obviously hurt you on the counter. Obviously, Chris Wood is one. Dan and Doy got the goal there as well, and Elliot Anderson is another one. I think he was very, very good, but Brentford defensively really, really poor. Really, really poor. It was not the best performance from them at all. I think if we're being honest, like Igor Thiago getting his first goal is very, very good. But even then, it did kind of paper over the cracks with what happened at the weekend. They are back at the GTEC, which I think is very, very good for them. Let's hope they can, get much, much better. Aston Villa, obviously without Erzi Konza at the weekend, red carded against Newcastle. Right decision. Absolutely right decision for sure. I thought actually Newcastle were the better team against Aston Villa, if I'm being honest. I thought they were the much, much better team. So even before the red card, I think Newcastle can go away from Villa Park feeling a little bit relieved, actually, that they didn't go home with 0 points, to say the very, very least. So Ollie Watkins going back to Brentford, and I think it'll be a tight one. I don't expect many goals because, obviously Villa are, they are without Ezra Konza. Martinez, does he come back in? I know Bezo had a very good game the other day against Newcastle. Looked pretty solid, to be fair, as well. But I'm going to go 1-goal win in this one. And I'm going to go for a Villa win. Going to go 1-0 to Aston Villa in this one. A very, very tight one. But I'm going to go 1-0 to Aston Villa. Now we have an all promoted clash. Burnley versus Sunderland at Turf Moor. Burnley beaten by Spurs by 3-0. Very, very disappointing result for Burnley. I do think they should have had a penalty. I think if you look at where sort of Jaden Anthony is, it's disappointing because I think Porro does know what he's doing, and I think if they had got a penalty, there's no sort of circumstances that they were going to get back into the game, but it was one of those ones where if that's given, like that's probably a foul anywhere else in the box, anywhere else other than the box, I think. Um, but they had their chances. They had their chances, and if they keep making chances like that, then they'll be absolutely fine. But defend like they did against Spurs, and they won't get anywhere. Obviously, the result of the weekend was definitely Sunderland 3, West Ham 0. Who saw that coming? Well, look, let's be honest. I saw Sunderland winning. Did not see 3-0 coming. Let's put it that way. But Mayenda, Ballard, and obviously Isidore. It's nice to see. It's actually nice to see sort of when you look at Sunderland, like bringing all these players, but still allowing to have the courage to have those players that did well from them last season to get back and win the game. It was very, very impressive from Sunderland. I thought they were really good, to tell you the truth as well. I think Granit Xhaka in midfield is an absolute masterstroke. So Happy Diarra was excellent as well. So yeah, Turf Moor, tough place to go to. Obviously, Burnley will want to obviously bounce back as well. But I look at both teams. I think Sunderland have got more firepower than Burnley do, for sure. And I'm going to go for it again. I do think that this is going to be a Sunderland victory. I am going to go Burnley 1, Sunderland 2. And that would be an excellent start to the season for Reggie Lebree's team, for sure. So we move into the Saturday tea time game now, and it is Arsenal versus Leeds United. Arsenal, well, let's be honest, they got that win in Manchester United. No matter what you say, the corner, I think by India has to do better. I think, I've been saying for a while now that, United keepers are just not reliable. And yeah, that one just went straight to Calafiori, didn't it? And Calafiori standing on the line says, "Thank you very much." 1-0 Arsenal, and that was the winning goal as well. But I thought Man United played well. I thought Man United played very well in that game, and in the end, I think Arsenal bit relieved to go away with 3 points. To tell you the truth, but and obviously Victor Gyökeres had a debut to forget. Let's put it this way. I think it was a debut to forget, but I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be okay for sure. Leeds United, welcome back to the Premier League. 1-0 win against Everton, and let's be honest, it should have been about 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5, because Everton were absolutely awful against Leeds. The penalty decision that they got, I mean, I don't think it was a penalty. To tell you the truth, I can see the argument of obviously like where his arm's going to go, but where is he supposed to sort of put his arms? I know he's leaning into the ball, and I suppose the distance the ball has travelled from, you can kind of see where that's been sort of given. But I thought it was incredibly harsh. I've got to say, I thought it was very, very harsh to give a penalty there as well. So Arsenal Leeds. This is going to be a very, very interesting one. Um, Going to give Arsenal the win. I think Arsenal will win this one. I'm going to go 2-0 to the Gunners in this one. Oh my goodness me. The next game, Sunday, 2 o'clock. Oh, this will be fireworks. Crystal Palace against Nottingham Forest. Well, we all know what's happened, don't we? Between the two, obviously Palace being demoted to the Europa Conference League, Nottingham Forest promoted to the Europa League. First things first, Palace were very unlucky not to win at Stamford Bridge. I thought they played really, really well. Really impressed with them. There's obviously that talk, obviously, Guehi and Glasner having a bit of a, a disagreement almost. I think you just leave that into the dressing room, to be honest. I think you have to as well. If they lose Eze, if they lose Guehi, I fully expect them to still be able to strengthen. I think that's the one thing I look at Palace when you look at this team. They will strengthen, and I think they will. I think they will for sure. But Eze's goal should have stood. Should have stood. I don't see why the goal was rolled out. This rule about being 1 centimeters the attacking team from the wall is ludicrous as far as I'm concerned. I know it's been a rule since 2019, but how long have you seen it like be used? Let's just say Nottingham Forest, great one against Brentford, 3-1 win. Chris Wood started where he's left off, and obviously Dan Doy is very, very good to to get that goal as well. But it is a Selhurst Park. If it was at the City ground, I'd probably say Forest would win this one for sure. But Sunday afternoon, got the crowd behind them, Crystal Palace. This will be spicy. This will be very, very spicy, I think. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Crystal Palace. I think Palace will win this one. And I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Palace. And now we have the debut game at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Everton against Brighton. Everton were absolutely shocking against Leeds United, it has to be said. They were really, really poor. And actually, when you look at it, Everton were lucky that they didn't go away with a beating, to tell you the truth. I fully expect Jack Grealish to start this game. He came on against Leeds. Didn't really make much of an impact, but you can kind of see what he was doing in that sort of that wide left role, and won a couple of free kicks as well. So Everton, I think will want to do a lot better. Yeah, they're going to have to be a lot better, and I think they need bodies in, definitely. They need a right back, and I would say a left back as well. Because James Garner at left back is not the answer. Let's put it that way. Brighton, unlucky to not win against Fulham. Obviously, Fulham got that last minute equaliser. I do say though, I thought Brighton were a bit fortunate to not concede a penalty. I think that the young lad Josh King, and I think it's Ayari, he gets the man first. So I think that was very, very fortunate to not to concede a penalty. So first game at their new home. Surely they win this. Surely. But Everton's record against Brighton recently has not been great, especially at Goodison. Brighton were winning quite a couple of games, weren't they? But it's in front of the new stadium. I'm going to give Everton a 2-0 win. I'm going to give them a 2-0 win. I think they might just win this one. I'm going to go for that. Fulham against Manchester United, 4:30 kickoff. As I said, Fulham were. Is the term smash and grab really harsh to say? Because it was a bit of a smash and grab. Let's be honest, but no, look, it's a good draw for Fulham. I think it's a very good draw. My only concern with Fulham, though, they haven't really strengthened, and I've seen people say maybe Marco Silva maybe moves on in the summer. Maybe he does. Maybe he does. But obviously, Rodrigo Muniz getting the goal. I believe he's no longer going to Atalanta, which is quite interesting. So that could be very, very interesting to say the very, very least. So is he going to be the main man at Fulham? Is it going to be Raul Jimenez? Time will tell. But they got out of jail at Brighton. But I'm not sure they'll get out of jail in this one because they are playing Manchester United, who were much, much improved against Arsenal. I thought Cunha was great. I thought Mbeumo was great. Sesko, when he came on, I think he was really, really good. And Casemiro, to be fair to him, he had a good game as well. Um, I think the worst player on the pitch probably Bruno Fernandes, if I'm being honest and blunt. I thought he was the worst player on the pitch. For sure. And obviously Ahmad came on in the second half as well. Man United always seem to love a late winner at Fulham. Last season had a very, very late winner. The season before that had a very, very late winner. And I just think with that firepower, with Sesko, Cunha, and Mbeumo, I think it was going to be a very narrow 1-0 win to Manchester United. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Manchester United. And that leaves Monday night, and this is going to be very spicy. Newcastle United against Liverpool. Fair play to Newcastle. Thought they were really good at Aston Villa, and they were very unfortunate not to come away with 3 points. I thought they were really impressive. Um, and it's disappointing as well, Sula didn't really have his chance. 10 minutes, you're not really going to make a sort of a difference in 10 minutes. Give him 15, give him 20 minutes, give him just a time to sort of get on and make an impact. But it just wasn't to be. Alexander Isak has come out with a big bombshell statement, basically saying that his promises have not been given to him. Like whatever happens after this game or before this game, Isak will not be a Liverpool player before this game. I can guarantee that it will not happen before this game. If anything, it goes right up to the end of the window. Now, yeah, look, I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens with Alexander Isak. But yeah, look, Newcastle, St James's Park, they're going to make it really, really tasty for this game against Liverpool. First thing first, great one against Bournemouth. Defensively, very worried, and Kanate is a big concern for me. His head, I don't think, is in the right place right now. I think if you're Kanate, do you want to stay at Liverpool? Do you want to go to Madrid? There needs to be a decision there. There needs to be a decision because I don't think Liverpool fans are wanting to lose another player for free. I certainly don't want to lose him for free. Obviously, Kirkes and Frimpong had mixed games, I would say. But the biggest plus for me, not just Chiesa scoring the winner, which is great to see. I'm so made up for Federico Chiesa. I think he's a really, really good player. And I am hoping that, Chiesa does now kickstart his Liverpool career, getting that goal. Now, obviously, Mo Salah named PFA Player of the Year for a third time is just unbelievable. Not bad for a one-season wonder, anyway. And 10 opening day goals in 9 seasons is unbelievable as well. So, yeah, this finished 3-3 last season. It was an absolute humdinger of a match. Newcastle have players that can hurt Liverpool. Liverpool have players that can definitely hurt Newcastle. Ekiteke, who had a very good debut as well. Gakpo, Wirtz, of course, who had a good debut. I don't think he was anything special, but I think he will come good. He definitely will come good. How do I see this going? Look, if we were to win this one and then win against Arsenal, it's a very, very good start. It is a very, very good start. Look, I know how difficult these games are to predict, but I think we go to St James's Park. I think we win this one. I do have a feeling we go into St James's Park and win this one. It will be spicy. If we get an early goal, calm the crowd down, then I think you might see us do well. You might see us do well. Anyway, I'm going to go Newcastle 1, Liverpool 2. That is what I'm going to go for in that one. So there are my predictions for the 25-26 Premier League season week 2. Get your predictions down in the comments and I'll go through my predictions very, very quickly. So I've got West Ham 0, Chelsea 2, Man City 3, Tottenham 1, Bournemouth 2, Wolves 0, Brentford 0, Aston Villa 1, Burnley 1, Sunderland 2, Arsenal 2, Leeds United 0, Crystal Palace 2, Nottingham Forest 1, Everton 2, Brighton 0, Fulham 0, Manchester United 1, and Newcastle 1, Liverpool 2. So there are my predictions. I'm sure you have your own. Please get them in the comment section. And yeah, thank you very much for all the support on these videos. I really do appreciate it. It's very, very good to get back to these as well. But guys, thank you very much. Enjoy the football. Another weekend ahead of us of the Crystal Palace Forest. You've obviously got Everton, Brighton, Newcastle, Liverpool, Man City, Tottenham, West Ham, Chelsea. Some really, really good games this week to predict. But anyway, I'll speak to you guys later. And yeah, get your predictions down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye for now.